Our opening words today for the service to bless the animals or be blessed by the animals are by one of our favorite poets, Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across landscapes, over prairies and deep trees, mountains and rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of all things.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, friends, newcomers, members who are joining us today in person or online. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Shenandoah Valley. I'm Lori, your worship associate for today's service. We wish to recognize and honor the native tribes who lived in this area: the Catawbas, the Shawnee, the Delaware, the Cherokees, Susquehannocks, and the Iroquois, who are also known as the Six Nations tribe. We come together each Sunday morning as a community of seekers of what is most important in our lives, seekers of understanding in the face of uncertainty and loss, seekers of forgiveness for our shortcomings, seekers of gratitude for the unexpected gifts we receive all around us. We gather in awe of the beauty of nature and the mysteries of the universe, but most importantly, we come together as seekers of community, of love and empowerment, celebrating our search for truth and meaning in our daily lives. Now, as Leslie and Bailey come forward to light the chalice, we will say the covenant together.
Words for lighting the chalice.
In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, to share. And I invite you to join with us as we say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and freedom, and to help our neighbor. To these ends, we covenant one with another.
Such a good dog, our honorary dog. Before we join our voices together in our opening song, I'm going to ask if you would pause with me in silence and a time for me to light a special candle today in recognition and awareness and compassion for all of those who have been adversely affected by Ian and its varieties of manifestations. We are witnessing a terrible storm, and we also know that it's not the first to happen this season. Pakistan and Puerto Rico are both still struggling desperately to recover from the storms that have disrupted their lives, their homes. So I ask you to join with me in a moment of silence, sending love and compassion to all those who are in harm's way, the humans and the animals as well, and in thoughts and prayers for support, safety, including to all those who are doing everything that they can to help those in need at this time. Please join me in the silence as I light a vigil candle. May all of those in harm's way find safety and comfort, and may all those who are responding find strength for the task. And if you would now please turn in your gray hymnal. Hopefully you picked one up on the way in. If you didn't, maybe you can raise your hand and an usher can bring you one for our in-gathering song this morning. It's number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing together. All five. All creatures of the earth and sky, come kindred, lift your voices high. Alleluia, alleluia. Bright burning sun with golden beam, soft shining moon with silver gleam. You may be seated. And now I'm going to invite Rachel Holt Parker to come forward. Rachel has a book to show, and we wanted to invite the young people forward if you'd like to come so you can see the pictures up close. Would our young people like to come? There's a few of you here today. Come on down. Yeah? Caleb? There's another one. Okay, well, wherever you're comfortable, or you can sit on the front row. And I know for those of you who can't see the pictures, which is most of you, that's my role. I get to tell you what's happening in the book, best that I can. So,
our book this morning is Strictly No Elephants, written by Lisa Manchev and illustrated by Taeyun Yu.
on the front cover is a little boy and an elephant looking at a door.
The trouble with having a tiny elephant for a pet is that you never quite fit in.
So it shows a little boy at the window with a baby elephant. They're both looking out the window at some nice colored leaves of fall falling in the sky.
No one else has an elephant.
Yeah, so there's the little boy looking out the window, but in other windows you can see other children with other pets, like a dog, a goldfish, a cat, a bird.
Every day, I take my elephant for a walk. His is a very thoughtful sort of walk.
The first picture shows the boy carrying the umbrella for the baby elephant who is on a leash. They live in the city. And the second picture shows the baby elephant holding the umbrella for the boy using his trunk, and the boy is carrying some fall flowers back to his house.
He doesn't like the cracks in the sidewalk much.
The little elephant is stuck. Doesn't want to cross the crack in the sidewalk. Do you know people like that? So the boy is trying to be patient on the walk.
I always go back and help him over. That's what friends do, lift each other over the cracks.
So now the little boy is actually carrying the little elephant.
Today, I'm walking my tiny elephant to number 17. It's Pet Club Day, and everyone will be there.
So they're looking in a mirror, and they've got matching scarves on. And number 17, for those of you who haven't lived in a city, is a public school name. If you live in a big city, the schools have a number for their name, and it happens to be Pet Club Day at the school, so they're excited to be going. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to tell you what's happening over here. So there are other children going with their pets to school, and all these other children have either dogs or cats.
Come along, there's a good boy. I coax him the last few feet. It'll be fine. When I look up, there's a sign on the door.
So now they're looking at the sign on the door.
Strictly no elephants. My tiny elephant leads me back to the sidewalk, never minding the cracks. That's what friends do, brave the scary things for you.
So the little elephant is leading the way back home, and they're both very sad. Oh, so it's a very rainy day, and everyone has umbrellas, except for the little boy and the elephant. They're walking home in the rain without their umbrella, looking very sad. But around the corner, there's a girl sitting on a bench. She doesn't have an umbrella either, and on her lap is a black animal.
Did you try to go to the pet club meeting too? The girl asks. Yes, I say, but they don't allow elephants. The sign didn't mention skunks, the girl says, but they don't want us to play with them either. They don't know any better, I tell her.
Yes, she's got a skunk on her lap, also on a leash.
He doesn't stink, the girl adds. No, he doesn't, I agree. What if we start our own club?
Now, not only the boy and girl are making friends, so is the elephant and the skunk. The skunk is reaching out its little trunk to kind of pet the skunk, or the elephant is reaching out its trunk to pet the skunk on its head.
Come along, I say, making certain that my tiny elephant follows me, because that's what friends do, never leave anyone behind.
Yep, they're going down the sidewalk together.
And you see the other.
Oh, and now if you look in the windows, it's not just cats, dogs, fish, and birds. Here's a girl who has a penguin, and there's a giraffe sticking its head out of one of these windows. Baby giraffe. Oh, and now it is a parade. So there's a giraffe, an armadillo, a porcupine, a bat, a skunk, an elephant, and what looks to me to be a dolphin, but Rachel tells me it's not.
It's a narwhal.
It's a pet narwhal, which is a new one on me. I have to learn about this. But they're all having a little parade down the sidewalk.
We can play here, one of our new friends says. All of us.
So they spot this really cool tree house in a park, and now they're all getting ready to go in there.
So we paint our own sign.
The sign, it used to say strictly no strangers and no spoil sports, but that has been marked through, and it says all are welcome.
My tiny elephant will give you directions if you need them.
Yeah, so now even kids with dogs and cats can come and join the interesting circus of other animals out there having fun.
Because that's what friends do.
Yeah, isn't that sweet? We can learn from this. Yes, we can. So thank you for coming up, Davis. Yeah, you can go back and sit with your mom. Thank you, Rachel, for sharing that story with us. So now, before we proceed with the rest of the service, I wanted to invite you into a quieter time for a few minutes. A time of meditation and silence. And the words that I selected for today's service, The Blessing of the Animals, is written by Roshi John Lurie of the Zen Mountain Monastery in New York. The reading is adapted from its publication in a volume of collected readings that are called Prayers for 1,000 Years. Blessings and Expressions of Hope for the New Millennium, which was edited by Elizabeth Roberts and Elias Amadon. The meditation words. Let us invoke our ancestors, both spiritual and genetic, for we are the sole reason of their existence. Let us invoke the children and their children, for they are the sole reason of our existence. Let us invoke the mountains and rivers and this great earth, and acknowledge our intimacy and codependency with all things sentient and insentient. Let us reflect that the gift of life is more fragile than the dewdrops on the tips of the morning grasses. Then let us vow to heal and nourish. Let us vow to love and share. Let us vow to alleviate suffering and bondage. Let us vow to manifest peace and joy in this world with our wisdom and compassion. Please join me in a brief silence. May it be so. And now, during today's musical interlude, I know many of you did bring photos of your pets or special animals in your lives to have on our community table. But if you are like me, I have a million pictures of my cats, and they're all on my phone. So I didn't print anything out. But what I wanted to do is, if you haven't brought your photo or object forward yet, during this music, you may come forward. And if you'd like to, instead of having that photo or object with you today, get a stone or a shell from our basket in the back, like we do for our joys and sorrows, or one from the table here, you can pick a stone or a shell to represent your beloved pet or the animal that you're holding up for a blessing today. You may come forward during the music. Oh, there's so many more. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, keep playing and come forward. Yeah. Hey, it's all about inclusion, right? All are welcome. So thank you for participating with that. And now Lori's words for reflection are actually a blessing of the animals before my message for today. But I do want to mention to be sure to come up after the service and take a whole look at the community table honoring our beloved pets and animals in our lives.
Before I read today's words for reflection, I want to let you know that no animals were harmed in the production of this service. And I want to thank John Latham because he scooped up this little tiny spider on the floor there and gently carried him out and put him outside for us. I appreciate that. This Words for Reflection is from Maureen Killeran. For the blessing of animal companions, we give thanks. For the beautiful ones, those whose fur is silky and whose tails are long, whose feathers are brilliant or whose voices are splendid, we give thanks. For the frantic ones, the runts and the hungry, who run for a food bowl or as a pat, as though this is life's last possible gift, we give thanks. For the obnoxious ones, the heads that butt against us as we're trying to sleep, the bodies that refuse to learn discretion as they make digestive gifts, we give thanks. For those who bark and purr and growl and mew, for all who squeak and squawk or snarl or hiss, we give thanks. For the animals unknown to us, those whose niche in life's web is fragile, whose lives are insecure, for all who care for them and wish them well, we give thanks. Blessed are the animals. Blessed are the creatures who live with us and need our care. Blessed are the mammals and the reptiles and the birds who teach us we are not alone. Blessed are all living things from whom we learn to love. Thank you.
I have to admit that this is my very first service for the blessing of the animals. I want to thank Lori and Alice Lees, who led the service recently and encouraged us to do it again this year. I've heard from some longtime members among you that there have been services for blessings of the animals in the past years, including ones where folks were invited to bring their animals to the service. Jane Laura Doyle told me yesterday, she's probably watching online, that she wasn't going to come to the service unless she could bring her dog, which I get that. But I must confess that I'm not quite ready for that yet. On a day like today, with the weather such as it is, I can imagine people bringing their dogs and their cats, who, by the way, if you didn't know, don't always get along, and maybe their fish and their birds and snakes or lizards to church. It's not that I don't like animals. I do, very much so. Well, except for snakes. But it's hard enough to try to help keep the peace among cantankerous Unitarian Universalists, let alone hoping their assorted pets will somehow get along during a worship service. I haven't totally dismissed the idea, but I really would rather at least have the service outside on the lawn. That is, if the weather would cooperate. I have to tell you, though, that as soon as I started thinking about leading this service several weeks ago, I had a surprising epiphany. Before, whenever I heard about a service for the blessing of the animals, I had in my mind's eye a picture of Saint Francis in his monk's robes. Upon his shoulder is a bird perched peacefully, and St. Francis is bestowing blessings upon the multitude of cute forest creatures that surround him at the edge of the forest. But when I started thinking about leading this service, I got a totally different picture. No, not a potentially disastrous picture of me trying to bless a sanctuary full of your pets in an uproar for the indignity of being brought together here on a rainy day like this one. No. I got a kind of reverse image of the blessing of the animals. My epiphany was that it should be a celebration and appreciation for the multitude of ways we humans are actually blessed many more-fold times by the animals of the world than we possibly have capacity to bless them. I can hardly get my cats to behave at home, let alone out in public. So we know who's in charge, right? It's just another example of how we humans think we are somehow at the peak of creation, better than all of nature, and arrogant enough to think that we alone have the power to bless others. When I thought about how animals are the ones who bless us humans rather than the other way around, I recalled the wisdom of the first peoples on this continent that was named North America by people from another place in the world. Those people we now call Native Americans, and who knew themselves by the many names of their peoples. They had a very different view of the human place in all of creation, a humbler view that perhaps us moderns would benefit to take to heart. Not only was the animal and plant and even mineral world considered to be part of all of our relations, in their worldview, each being sentient or otherwise was bestowed with a unique medicine, unique gifts that benefit the whole family of life, human and otherwise. We humans are wildly blessed by all of nature, including the animals, including the most ferocious among them. I brought an alligator's head for the table today. I like alligators. They're always grinning. For these people from before us, the natural world at all of its levels are inseparable to the larger family of life on this precious planet Earth. And each of these beings beyond us has a wisdom for their human siblings if we but take the time to listen. I like how the longstanding religious traditions honored in early October by Christians and Jews was extended into the creation of a World Animal Day, celebrated in cultures and countries around the world since 1931. People of goodwill who have recognized our close human relationships with animals join together to raise awareness in creating a fairer place for all living creatures of the world, a day to show appreciation and gratitude for all of our animal companions, for service animals, animals everywhere who contribute to our lives in so many ways. World Animal Day encourages us to bless animals with acts of kindness, appreciation, and justice. Taking shelter dogs for walks, creating greater awareness and protection for endangered species, providing support to animal welfare agencies, and promoting more compassionate industry practices in our interactions with animals. In the Hebrew book of Job, what Christians call the Old Testament, there is a verse. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach you. The editors of the book I referenced earlier with the meditation reading by the Zen priest had an earlier collection of readings called Earth Prayers. I wanted to share a few words by those editors, Elizabeth Roberts and Elias Amadon, in their introduction to the section called Benediction for the Animals. Animals referred to by John Muir as horizontal brothers have long been recognized as essential to our development and well-being. Throughout history, they've played a major role in human thought and culture. They inhabit our myths, fables, proverbs, and stories. There is a profound, inescapable need for animals among all peoples. For while animals have inhabited a world without people, we have never lived without the companionship and practical help of animals. Today, because of the widespread pollution of air and water, the rapid expansion of cities, and destruction of wilderness habitat, we are seeing an imminent and irreversible loss of untamed animal life. We can only guess at the future effect on our children of living in a world in which elephants only exist in the zoos, the great whales no longer fill the seas with their song, and the remaining forests are silent. If our greatest loss with the animals has been to lose touch with the reality of their existence, our second loss has been to banish them even from our minds. We assume they have nothing to teach us about the predicament of our existence. We no longer know how to listen to the wisdom of the various four-legged, six-legged, finned and winged creatures that share our life on this earth. We forget they are ancestors as well as kindred. Long before we existed, they worked out the round of life in thousands of variations. Today, we're asked to awaken to the plight of our animal relatives, to let their beauty and power come alive for us once again. We are members of a human family and society, but the presence of animal others enlarge our perception of the self beyond our cities and opens us inward to the ground of being where live the lizard and the monkey, the fish and the bear. These are all our relations. They are like us, offspring of the great mystery and necessary parts of living a balanced and whole life. May it be so.
The purpose of this church is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and action. We will now gratefully receive an offering to sustain this self-supporting church and its ministries within and beyond our walls. If you happen to be watching us online, we hope you will consider making an offering today after today's service through our webpage, uushenandoah.org.
I wanted to mention for those of you who may not know who composed that song, it was Louis Armstrong that wrote the song, What a Wonderful World. Our closing song, number 207 in our gray hymnal, Earth Was Given as a Garden. Earth was given as a garden, cradle for humanity, tree of life and tree of knowledge, placed before discovery. Here was hope for all your creatures, born of land and sky and sea, all created in your image, all to live in harmony. Show to us again the garden where all life flows fresh and free. Gently guide your sons and daughters into full maturity. Teach us all to trust each other, how to use for good our love, how to touch the earth with reverence, that once more will lead and flow. Bless the earth and all your children, one creation make us whole. Interwoven, all connected, planet wide and inmost soul. Holy Mother, life bestowing, mid-raised metamorphoses, fill us all with grace overflowing. Teach us how to live in peace. Thank you. You may be seated.
As Leslie and Bailey, extinguishes the flame, let us say together here and from our homes the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of our community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Thank you.
Our closing words were ones that were shared by Lori when she led this service before. They come to us from the Humane Society, and I think that they're just a lovely blessing for all of our animals. May our animal friends have good health, happy lives, and always be protected and safe. We ask for better understanding as we learn from our animal friends' wisdom, their innocence, their loyalty, and particularly their seeming ability to not judge human beings unkindly. Thank you for the pleasures, playfulness, and sometimes the surprising humor our pets display. Thank you for their companionship and friendship, especially for those lonely hours that we experience. Thank you for our companions' natural ability to teach us to be aware of the present moment. Thank you for the pure beauty of every single animal. And now, as we close the service, I invite you to join with me with your thoughts, wishes, and prayers to wish blessings for all of the animals, those in our homes and throughout the world, and in gratitude for all the blessings that we receive from the animals in our lives. May it be so.